I don't have FOMO, honestly, because of Twitter. If it wasn't for Twitter, I'd probably have more FOMO than I have, but I just see so many indie devs out there, entrepreneurs out there, just like building products on their own and succeeding. And when you kind of get away from like, I need funding for my idea and actually just focus on building a business, you can do it from anywhere.
This is The Ramblings. Hey guys, welcome back to another wonderful episode of The Ramblings. I have today with us the original AJ. I'm going by other AJ today, mainly because I am younger. We have with us AJ Picard, founder of OneTap. I am actually a pro member of OneTap now. So I use it like at least twice a day, maybe more, depending on what I'm doing. Because I have like the hashtags in there for when I'm doing like my
Oh
YouTube
yeah.
stuff. Like I have it divided out into like hashtags for YouTube, hashtags for TikTok, hashtags for
Mhm.
Instagram, like my flow pages, like or like Linktree stuff. Like it's divvied out. So we're gonna do like a huge deep dive into all of that. And first of all, just introduce yourself. Give us like who you are, 5 minutes about how you got to One Tap, all that.
Yeah, man. So my name's AJ from Philadelphia. Pretty much grew up playing basketball my whole life, but was really interested in tech and went to school for basketball and then played overseas for like 2 months, came home and was like, man, I want to develop my own product. And so I wanted to see if I could sell first. So I went into sales, did well in that, quit my job, and then started teaching myself how to like design and code. And then ended up starting my own little studio while I was running my own ideas. And then fast forward to like 2 years ago, my wife and I found out we were going to have a kid. We have a kid. Everyone's asking me for all these pictures. I was like, why am I searching my photos for all these pictures? Why not? Why can't I have it on my keyboard, like ready to share whenever I need to? And that's kind of how I thought of OneTap. I was like, it would be cool if I could just save stuff to my keyboard so I could like share whenever I need to. And then got here, man.
Wow, man, that's crazy because like for that same thought. Now, have you ever owned an Android phone?
Don't, dude, I'm all Apple, always been Apple. I like anything Android, and
Oh
that's
my
why
God.
Android has stuff like this already. So,
Okay, so my background is I was born, I guess, if you will, into Apple family. I'm young enough to have been born in like
yeah,
my mom got all of us computers. They were Apple. My mom's laptop,
sorry,
Apple. My laptop now, Apple. My phone, Apple.
as
But
a ship.
like there was a period where I had Android and I fell in love with the open source of PC and just being the explorability, especially back in the day where I'm downloading like games and apps for free, getting like older things if it's outdated or if, let's say it didn't exist anymore, they pulled it off the market. So you could find like the APK somewhere online.
Mhm.
So like all of that
Yeah.
interested me. And I was like, yo, that's where the difference in my edge, like the customization I just felt was so much better within that Android world.
Oh,
So, but in that, I had that clipboard feature. So
mhm,
that would have never crossed my mind to be able to build that. Now,
mhm.
I find it crazy that it actually also doesn't already exist
Yeah,
in
same.
general. So,
Yeah,
so, oh, no, go ahead.
we had to find a lot of workarounds. Honestly, it was a struggle trying to get more complex things like photos and files and things like that. But when it came to text, Apple kind of played nice with us. But I was like, like I feel like text, they kind of already have that in the settings, like in a way. And I don't know, we needed to like branch out, but they're definitely not as open source as Android, man. And that's the one thing they'll always have on Apple, though.
How did you guys get around like that open sourceness to be able to build one tap? Because especially with it being like a keyboard function feature,
Yeah.
I know that the only other one that I can think of right now is Grammarly, who has like that keyboard where you can like
Mhm.
not it doesn't allow you to swipe, but it allows for you to do like the corrections.
We do have we have, I guess, like one other keyboard app out there that's doing like exactly what we're doing, and they're bigger, but I'm not going to put them on here. But we were kind of looking at, see if we could figure out how they were doing it just based off their app. And then we were just diving into the documentation and just trial and error and ended up just discovering how to do
So
it.
you've been building in public on Twitter. I've been following you for a pretty good amount of time now. I've seen some good growth. Talk to us about what you're doing in regards to getting one tap into customers' hands. I've been seeing a lot of positive feedback. So talk to me about some of the customer feedback. How do you feel that you feel that you're finding product market fit? Where do you feel like you are right now?
Yeah, honestly, marketing's on my end's not really been my strong suit. A lot of it's been myself learning as well. So pretty much been, like you said, posting on building a public on Twitter. And then I'm literally just now like diving into Google ads probably within like the past month and trying to learn how to do that and generate some sort of results. But honestly, man, like a lot of it, I honestly done very minimal marketing on this. I did product on a lot of it's been word of mouth. And I just haven't gone full throttle on the marketing side up until now because I felt like the product wasn't really there. So we had to improve the performance a little. And then we added a share feature so you could share your shortcut groups with your friends and family, whatever it may be. And then with the past like month or so, I'd say we also found out that a lot of creators like you, like yourself, consider you a creator, business people, salespeople, and we've had some venture capitalists as well, just mainly using the product to either do what you said, which is with hashtags, which is a very popular feature. I mean, use case. And then another very, very popular use case is sharing emails, sharing Calendly links, sharing links to their latest post. I personally share OneTap's website and app to download and the link to download it like multiple times a day. So we're starting to learn, but I still think we haven't found like that niche creator, you know what I mean? Where we could really focus. I think we cater to all the creators, but I think there's a specific creator that's really going to take this and run with it, you know?
Okay.
So
Now, are you guys tracking back-end usage? Are you able to see like URLs or photos or like what people are primarily
we don't get access to any of your data. That was huge for us because essentially you uploading things to the keyboard, we could get access to all that, but we shut that all off and made sure that all your stuff, all your content is saved to your device. So we don't ever have access to it. The only thing we are tracking is how you navigate and what you're doing within the product. So I know when you use a keyboard shortcut, I just don't know the content on that keyboard shortcut.
Okay. Do you
So
know
at
what
least,
type of, do you know what type of like
yes,
one it is?
the text shortcut is number one for most used.
Mhm.
And then after that is the link. And honestly, they're both kind of similar. The only benefits that the link has is that there's that like blue icon to help separate it. So you can like find it on the keyboard. And then it starts off when you are creating a link shortcut, it has like the HTTP like already in the field. So you don't have to type it out where the text phrase doesn't. So like, but they're mainly the same thing, but those two are the most popular we have. And then of course our AI keyboard shortcut as well, coming in third.
How did you come up with the AI keyboard feature? Like, because I
So,
understand like like the stack of what you currently have, but with the AI feature, was it just like, hey, we want to find a way to add AI, or what? Like, did you have something in mind?
so yeah, one, we want to add AI, but the biggest thing with OneTab is like, I'm a firm believer that I think the iOS keyboard needs to be reinvented. I feel like it's been the same for a while now. And
Mhm.
when I mean reinvented, I mean bring functionality that helps benefit the user's day-to-day productivity. We live in a digital world. I don't only want to type from my keyboard. Think about being able to share content from your keyboard like you're doing now. Think of being able to maybe get access to ChatGPT, which you are able to do now. Like you can generate content, you can share content. And what I want to add later is being able to like navigate to other apps from the keyboard as well, so that you can just do everything from there. And that's what I think it should be, honestly. So that's kind of how I thought of the idea with the AI part. Um, and kind of how I'm moving forward with like feature sets, just like,
I'm I'm very interested in that part now. Like, it's like, what do you see people using? Like, because I understand the keyboard shortcuts in regards to like my computer. So, it's
yeah,
like Shift Command 4 is like screenshot and everything
yeah,
like that, right? But you can do different stuff and set it up for shortcuts to be activated via
uh,
that. How do you see people using the keyboard, which is traditionally used as something to only text in mobile? And how do you see that like playing a part in how people navigate the phone as it of in itself?
so I think personally, I mean, I wish I could just share my screen and check
You
that.
can, no, you can.
I can. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, I listen, I've been trying to roll things differently. So it's gonna be a
Yeah,
mix of that Joe Rogan, DOAC, because of like
sure.
that not experimental, but experience. So you're like, hey, I want to share this. Or like if I saw an article and I wanted to share that with you, like I want to be able to pull that up for the audience.
100%. So I'll show you. So this is actually rolling out very soon. So can you see the screen?
Yeah.
So what this is going to do is when you first come into the app, it's just going to give you like some suggested shortcuts And if you tap one of these, it just takes you right there with like this title already filled out. So you just have to add the content. And we just are pretty much seeing the most used types of keyboard shortcuts. So like portfolio links, email pitch, whatever it may be,
Mhm.
just to get people going. But when I was talking about the navigation part, so this is something that is so far impossible as of now. But we don't know if Apple's going to unlock it soon. So pretty much I'm calling them quick actions. So we have keyboard shortcuts, which are,
Mhm.
you're sharing your content, or you can use ChatGPT. With quick actions, you can do things like, this is potentially the new design for our keyboard as well. So the first part is the keyboard shortcuts, which is the first icon here. You tap the second icon, brings you to OneTap AI, gives you the instructions. This third icon is quick actions. So you could come in here and add apps in here. And let's just say you're in your messages and you're like, you know what? I want to head on over to Instagram real quick. Just go over to OneTap's keyboard, tap the IG button, brings you over. You don't have to like quit out and find it or do any of those things. You can just do it, right from here. Like I personally am constantly texting my friends or texting someone. I'm like, yo, I'm going to tweet this real quick. I'd like close out, find Twitter and go. And I could just copy what I want to tweet, hit the keyboard, navigate over to Twitter. It's very like, might not be a huge
Ah.
saver, but you can quickly just like navigate over to things. And then, what if I want to, if I'm on Twitter and I'm like, I want to go to messages, I'll add a messages button here in quick actions, click messages, brings me to messages. You know what I mean? Things like that.
I like this. This is intuitive, and I have not seen anyone take this kind of route, like, at all.
Yeah, that's because this is impossible right now, isn't it?
Okay, so but you're going for it and you're trying it, right? You're
Yeah.
talking to Apple trying to get that push to do it, and so being the first mover gives you first advantage, which means have you started to see any kind of clones of your of OneTap yet?
Yeah. There's like, when it comes to the keyboard shortcuts, there's one.
Mhm.
And when it comes to the AI keyboard, like there's multiple. I mean, that's like, that's something that was going to happen. But the biggest thing, the biggest reason why we're different than all of them is because we're the all-in-one solution. Like there's not one out there that's offering keyboard shortcuts and an AI keyboard shortcut. We're offering both. So that's the biggest thing. Biggest difference so far. We just got to get out there. That's why I'm doubling down on marketing.
Man, that I love this. So OneTap is something that you started building. Congratulations on the kid, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
I want to get into a little bit something different. You mentioned
Yeah.
just before I hit record that you moved to Albania like 3 months ago. What is up with that?
Oh, my wife is 100% Albanian. So
Wow.
she's just going to hate me that I'm saying this, but she pulled the winning lottery numbers when she was 4. So her family was able to come over to the US, and then
Mhm.
we met in college. And I was like, I came here to visit, and I'm like, I mean, I would love, we should think about like living here. And then we moved back. We moved back like 3 months ago. It was like a 1, 2 year plan.
That's like a big jump. So is like being do you feel like you're missing out on anything entrepreneur wise by not being in the States?
So, um, obviously, I mean, obviously I'm missing things, but I don't have FOMO, honestly, because of Twitter. If it wasn't for Twitter, I'd probably have more FOMO than I have, but I just see so many indie devs out there, entrepreneurs out there, just like building products on their own, and succeeding. And when you kind of get away from like, I need funding for my idea, and actually just focus on like building a business, like you can do it from anywhere. So, I don't really, I mean, the connecting part for sure, but I mean, thanks to COVID, everything's on Zoom now anyway. So it's like
Yo, I love that part. Like the Zoom aspect of things makes my life a ton easier.
100%.
But I love what you just said because I'm a firm believer in trying to stay as lean as possible. And one of the things I noticed is while you do have a freemium model, you're hacking in a way that like you're going revenue based first. Like you
Yeah.
have a free model, but you're like, hey, we're trying to create a revenue and
Yeah.
a profit from day one.
Yeah. That
Now,
AI keyboard's charging me every time you use it.
Exactly. You're right. So that people have to be able to
Yeah.
to afford that. Now,
Mhm.
one of the things I wanted to, I guess, dive into in that sense is uh where are you at in regards to users and what do you see yourself doing or changing in regards to your revenue model? Do you see yourself raising the price after a certain amount of users? Are you gonna like bring them up? Like how do you see yourself going from where you're at now to profitability?
Yeah. So right now we are profitable. I will say
Oh,
that. Yeah, we're doing.
that's even better than not being profitable.
Yeah. Yeah, we are definitely profitable. I think our burn rate actually it's been it changes each month, but last month was our highest expense, and that was $44, and that was only for AI, the AI keyboard shortcut, because we don't have servers. So users don't create accounts, users don't save anything on our servers. It's on your device. So the only thing we're paying for is the AI part, and everything else, all the revenue is 100% to us. And right now we're doing solid on that. I mean, I feel like we haven't really locked in on a price that I see like, you know, people really buying in. I mean, it's just been steady growth. I've been teetering between 249 and 499. But anyone that has locked in at that like 249 price, I mean, they're locked in forever. I mean, I would never change that on them since they've kind of been there since the beginning. And when it comes to users, we average around 300 to 350 daily active users a day. And we
Wow.
average about 180 to 350 keyboard shortcuts used a day. And this week we just hit 20,000 keyboard shortcuts used. So we're growing, but just wish it was like a little faster than it is, but it's been steady. So I can't complain.
Listen, man, you guys are doing great work, and I'm loving to see the progress because you, like I said, you guys are building in public and
Yeah.
everything. Now, you have mentioned we. I only see you. Who else are you
Yeah.
building with?
Yeah. So I own 100% of the company. I mean, I haven't given out any equity yet, but when I was how I got OneTab built, like, is the most insane story. Like, if you want me to dive into it, I can.
Yes,
But
like we have, bro. We this
okay,
is called the ramblings because we like the
okay,
long story. Go ahead.
okay, okay. So I had the idea, and I was getting quotes for like from development agencies for like 40 to 50K. And I was like, I can't do that. And this was way over my pay grade as in terms of development knowledge. And still kind of is. And so I was like trying to find a way to get it built, and I stumbled across this program from the University of Albany where you could pitch your idea to a bunch of to like 3 cohorts of students, and if they like your idea, they would build it for a semester for free. And we got picked, and they ended up building it from January. I think it was like January to May, and we had like weekly calls with them. It was going well, but then near the end, they started like they didn't have anything to show me up until like they only had the designs coded, no functionality up until the week of demo day, which was like the last day. And a day before they sent me a build, and it was literally just you could use a text shortcut and a URL shortcut. The other shortcuts didn't work. And the students were telling me how like they stayed up for like all these hours, all this night to get this done. And I felt bad, but like they needed the good grade, so they got it done. And I took that MVP and just promoted it on Twitter and got like 400 beta signups, and then connected with this guy named and he's in India. He's a student. And he was like, he's really like big in the Siri shortcut community. I'm not sure if you really know about Siri shortcuts, but
No, what is that?
yeah. So the Siri shortcut app,
Oh, the series. Okay, yeah.
dude, I mean, you can build full blown apps with this thing. Like I literally just found this out from him. If you go do some research out this, like it's insane what you can build in there. And
I
so
just added it to like my little screen thing because I'm like,
yeah,
because
yeah,
OneTap when I put it on my computer was like, I need to do the shortcuts in the back, and I was like, oh, what's this? So I kind of I checked it
that,
out, but I'm like, I don't got time right now. But you're saying like you can build full blown apps with this kind of
yeah.
thing?
So with Siri shortcuts, we were able to bring OneTap to the Mac. So we were able to bring OneTap application to the Mac. You can open it, you can see your keyboard shortcuts, but how do you use a keyboard shortcut if you can't access the keyboard on the Mac, right? And so what we did was we integrated the keyboard shortcut functionality into Siri shortcuts. So that's why I was asking you to add it to your Mac, because when you run OneTap for Mac, you can then you can click a keyboard shortcut essentially and copy it and then paste it anywhere you want. So it's like using it from your keyboard, but instead from Siri shortcuts. And I can show you, but that's pretty much like, you can build complex things like that. And he was telling me, and he pretty much reached out to me and was like, I saw your app and like would love to work on it. I mean, I don't, I won't charge a lot. I just like really want to like bring this, improve this as much as possible. And from there, we just started working together. And next thing I know, he like rebuilt the whole thing. and added like the AI part and really made this app like very sturdy. And he was the one that thought of like saving the data on users' devices, and really talented guy. And he deserves a lot of the credit for how this thing works. But I offered equity to him. He didn't want to take it. So, I told him,
Wow.
yeah, I told him it's always gonna be there. I said if we ever get an acquired offer, and we can go on the record right now, he can watch his video if he wants to. But if we do get that offer, I will always go. I will make sure I go to him to make sure he gets some sort of payout or something, because he deserves it. He's just like, he's still in school and he has his own products. He's like,
That, that's a real stand up move, because there are a lot of people that would have taken
"Mm,
that no and just left it at that. That's real. That's real. I'm gonna edit that part out, but that's real right there, man.
well, yeah." I mean, all his it wouldn't if it wasn't for him, man, it wouldn't have any of the success. So
Yeah, but like to hold, like to have that value and hold that, that says something
yeah,
about you as like a man to be able to say, yo, he's denied the equity multiple
yeah,
times. Like if we make it big, I still want to go make sure I break the homie off with something because he
100%.
deserves it.
Yeah, he 100% deserves it. That's how like, if I feel like you deserve something or you did the right thing, I'm gonna always own up to that, man. I always believe doing the right things is the right thing to do. So it's like, that's good karma at the end of the day, you know?
Nice guys really do finish first.
Well,
So you,
some
what, what are you, what do you see yourself doing at the end of this? Are you building this like as like this is like your baby, this is an idea, you're an entrepreneur and you found your idea? Or is this something that is on your journey to something else?
Another good question. If you asked me this 5 years ago, I'd probably say this is my baby. But after going through just building so many different products and having a ton of like ups and downs and stuff, when it comes down to it, I just want to build a successful product that I can, work on full time and build a team around. And honestly, if OneTab gets more traction, it's gonna, I'm gonna give it more attention. But as of right now, I'm also building other products. I'm about to launch another product very
Oh,
soon.
let's get into that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
See, look, no, we love that. What are you currently building right now outside of OneTap?
Yeah. So do you know any no code website builders at all?
Bubble,
Framer? You're the framer?
Framer. I feel like I've heard of them. I just saw you using Figma. There's
Yeah.
a new website. I've just I don't remember the name of the website, but they are supposed to like take your Figma design and like automatically using AI do the code for it. And then basically like big like Canva,
Yeah.
if you will, but the no code version for Figma, which is
Yes.
some kind of thing.
Framer has an AI feature. You just literally say like, build this type of website for me, and it just
Mhm.
builds it. Like, it's really cool. So Framer is my favorite no code website builder. Been building no code for like 5 years now, and it got me off of Webflow, which I originally was using. And what I really loved about Framer is like, okay, so you have these no code apps, right? But they usually don't allow you to code. I mean, you can embed code into it, but what's really cool about Framer is you can build something called a Framer component. So a Framer component is built literally on React, which means that you can go full blown React into this component and then drop that component into Framer. So let's just say you're like, you know what, I want to create like a button. I don't know, that maybe when you click it, it spins and then stops. Well, you could code that in React, paste it into the Framer component, and then put that Framer component into your Framer website, and it brings that functionality to that website because you can't really code in a no code tool. So Framer is like, you can build a website very quickly, like drag and drop, like make it look really nice, add animation, whatever. But adding that customization is what really I think sets it apart from the rest. And I took a step back and I'm like, man, like this product is blowing up. I ended up designing a website for like a venture capital firm that invested in them. And I was like, oh man, they're really blowing up. So I was like, I'm seeing the
Mhm.
community grow, and I'm like, okay, so you can build really cool websites, animate things that are like really, really nice and really complex. But what you can't do is you can't build a complex website. What I mean by that is you couldn't build a web app in Framer, like Bubble. You couldn't like add authentication. You couldn't, you know, add a user profile. Like you couldn't do any of
Mhm.
that because it's basic stuff, right? So when
Right.
I'm building, it's called Stack Frame. And literally I just built custom Framer components that contain features. And so I have a component for authentication. You just drag it into your Framer website, add your stack frame project ID, and then you have authentication. So it's like no code at all. I'm just giving you the pieces. You just pick what pieces you want, drag it in, and then you have your web app. And I think I built I can literally create a website that has user authentication, user sign up, user profile, user newsfeed. So you show all the posts from a user. And I can also allow users to post. So like create a post, like tweeting, less than 5 minutes. And that would take me like 2 to 3 months coding. So it's like,
Wow.
yeah, and I can show you if you want. I can show you right here.
Yeah, let's get into it. If it takes 5 minutes, I'm down.
Yeah, okay. Let me set it up real quick. Let's find the browser here. Okay, so screen. All right, so you see my screen? Okay, so this is let me get rid of this real quick. So this is a component I built, right? So let me zoom in.
Okay.
So this is a authentication component, right? So right now, user is signing in with email and password. Okay, if you want a user to not sign in, but maybe sign up instead, right? You click sign up, and now you have these fields. I'm still messing with the styling and stuff, but you can have this component right here would allow a user to sign up, right? So imagine something like this, right? So I come in here, okay, and I'm like, okay, I want to add, copy this. I want to add sign in to my app. So I'm going to I drug my authentication component in here. I go over, click sign in. I put my project ID that's associated with my stack frame project because I just created an account, which you see here, test project. This is stack frame, came in here. Here's the project ID. This is what you're copying, and then you're putting it right in here. Make sense?
Oh, so you created that in React so that people
Yeah.
in Stack Frame would be able to easily drag and drop like those pieces.
Yeah. So I essentially put React code into this Framer component inside of Framer. And all this project ID does is pull the data like you see for like, this is my project, right? So I have 2 users that's already signed up and 1 person that's posted something. So that's pretty much connecting this Framer website to Stack Frame so they can talk to each other, right? So I'll show you,
Okay.
like when I come in here, look, I can even tell it like where I want it to redirect after I sign up or after I sign in. And as you can see, I have a profile test. So I have to update this like this.
Now,
I click publish. Okay. Update. And then when I come in here, okay, so we have this component here, and I think, what is it? Mark target. So I think incorrect password. Okay. No worries. I'll go sign up. And sorry, this is all messed up. Hold on.
now, when you create the component, did you also have to add all of the abilities of that component?
Yes. Yeah. So, okay. So let me just upload a picture real quick. Oh my God. Sorry, man. I just
No, you're
changed
good.
these. I changed these, I promise it's going to work. Just got to go to this page and change this. Okay. But again, all this stuff I'm doing like would take forever with code. So
Right,
I
because
could,
you'd have to code it,
yeah,
run it.
I'd have to find it. Yeah.
If it's wrong, you got to make sure that you're like it's the like one, you're getting the right thing wrong. Then 2,
Yep.
you got to make sure that you code,
Yep.
recode it.
Yep. So I'm going to take you to this next page. Oh, of course. Okay. So it signs up. Now what happens is it shows, this is based, I don't even have the style. This is testing again. This right here is newsfeed. So this shows all the posts that I've posted on this project. I have my logout button. I have just a spacer right here to take me to another page. This is the profile component. And then this is the create post component. So this profile component, this is my profile picture that I can style. And then I have it just showing the email, but I could show username, email, bio, and I'll do it right now actually. So I come in here. So I have my profile component clicked. I come in here and I'm like, I want to add a username, bio, and links. And then when I click publish, update, come in here. Now it pulls the data. You see that?
Okay. Yeah.
And now I want to create a post. I'll give you a little sneak peek of Stackframe's new logos.
Sure.
Click submit. And then you're going to see it gets posted right up here. And obviously this is not styled, but again, you can see it's working. And this is literally, I just drag and drop stuff in here and added a project ID and did all this. So
Yo, man, you are really cooking with the different kinds of projects and everything. What
yeah,
what which one do you feel is going to be the one that's like, hey, we're taking this one to the moon?
I mean, I want to say OneTap honestly because I think it's way cooler. But when I look at Stackframe, I'm like, I already know the type of person I need to target, and that's framer developers. People that build in Framer. So like I
Right.
have my market, and I know there is one. So until I launch it and until I fix all the little quirks, like I don't know. I think they both have a really good shot. I think OneTap, the downfall about that is that Android has these features,
Right.
so building on Android, maybe. But I think it's more of someone acquiring us. It would be cool if Apple acquired us and just integrated keyboard shortcuts in iOS and we could like unlock the full ability of it because they would unlock iOS for us. But again, we would need way more traction before that happened.
Wow. So do you feel like you'll get enough traction that Apple will be able to buy you? Or do you feel like you'll get enough traction to where Apple sees it and says, we're going to do that?
I don't know. Um, I mean, if they wanted to have it instantly, then I think they would probably acquire me, bring me on, and start taking the code and integrating it rather than essentially starting from scratch, you know? But again, they have the team to do it. So that's the risk, It's like people are always like, oh, Apple's going to steal that, or Facebook's going to steal this, Instagram's going to steal this, whatever. It's like, yeah, but they haven't. So
Right. If you
it's like, what do you
could,
say to them?
if you could pick what company you could get acquired by or be sold to, and it doesn't have to be just Apple. Think about, whatchamacallit, Meta. They're doing a lot of stuff with the Quest. I'm a huge Quest fan. Can't wait to get the 3. And they're doing a lot of stuff with like online so that like OneTap can be easily integrated into how they do things. Or even they come out with like a Facebook keyboard, if you will, or like any company. If you could pick one company to be sold to, it could be Apple, I guess, but who would you want to be under?
In this particular case, for me, I would want it to be Apple strictly because um, I want to see, I want to be able to see like the opportunity to have unlimited freedom when it comes to any like thinking about feature sets for OneTap. And what I mean by that, that quick action feature I showed you,
Mhm.
that is impossible to do because of how Apple has their software lockdown. So if we were to get acquired, they would potentially unlock that software so that we could build custom features like this and none of the competition could touch it because they're not unlocked, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
you know? So in this case, Apple.
Good option. Good option. Okay. I feel like we have covered this has been a super
Yeah.
power packed episode. I feel like we're covering a lot over the course of like 42 minutes. Um, Anything that you would like to kind of like bring out to like the people? Let's talk. You talked about OneTap. We talked about what you got with Framer. Is there anything else you're working on that like you feel like is kind of that you're ready to start talking about?
No, man, just those two build it. I mean, I would love to encourage more people to build in public. We would have never connected if I didn't do that. And it's just a really good loyal community and there's a lot of people out there to help. So just really encourage doing that. And let's talk about you for a second, man. Like tell me about the podcast and how it's going and like, how long you've been doing this and why you started doing this. I want to hear this.
So we've been doing pretty good. We just had Stampede on the podcast. We just had, I don't know if you use
Congrats.
Notion to do anything.
Of course.
There's a creator or consultant called the Notion Bar. Her name is Frances. We just had her on the podcast.
Nice.
Still trying to do steady good numbers. We probably do like 50 downloads per episode, which isn't bad, I guess. But it originally started primarily as just like one, marketing, two, leverage. Like going like the way I was able to get like first clients for off source was through networking. And obviously when you're a new company, I'm like, yo, how can I not seem like like a gimme grab? Like, like I'm just trying to soak up everybody else's stuff. So I was like having a podcast. I've only had maybe 5 people and I've done 177 episodes now at this point.
For you, man.
I've maybe had 5 people ask about like the actual following or audience So it makes it
What?
easier for me. Yeah, exactly. So small business owners, like I found that there's a really big difference between small business owners and founders. We
Yeah.
founders, indie hackers, that whole realm of Twitter, founders. When
Mhm,
you look at something like Facebook, LinkedIn, small business owners. Now, LinkedIn's going to
mhm.
have like your VCs, founders, but traditionally, you're going to have your more brick and mortar business people, people that are in your dirt and grind businesses. And so when I was younger, because I've always been like, I knew business. I can't code. I
Mm.
can't do any of that, but I can run a process. I know business processes. Like if you're
Yeah.
like, yo, how do I set this up to do XYZ? I'm like, okay, we can get that done. I'm like, I'm the best right hand man you will ever have, basically. And so that's kind of
Fact.
like, I was like, yo, this allows for me to talk to people without seeming one immature, because obviously I was a lot younger than I already am young now.
Yeah.
And being newer in business, it was like, dang, you haven't even you don't have enough skin in the game to really even do anything. So in order to get in people's calendars and conversations and be able to kind of ask them questions, like it's like everyone says, like, oh, no one wants to be like, oh, can I pick your brain for an hour? But if I'm like, yo, can I interview you for a podcast?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, yes, 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 yes. Now all of a
Facts.
sudden I can still pick your brain,
Facts.
and most of the time people don't even really share their episodes. So it originally started
What?
as not just marketing, but a way for me as a young person to have leverage and to be able to just bring something to the table so that other people would be able to have a conversation with me.
You got people out here not sharing your episode after you interviewed them?
Like, well, some people do. Like, shout out Jose. Jose basically likes everything I do now at this point. Shout out to the people that share their episode. But for those that don't, it's just because they're not like tech savvy, if you will. Like, they're not
Oh,
on
okay.
social media
Okay.
like that. They kind of did it because they heard someone else on the radio because they listened to the radio. Like, oh, well, if you're a real estate agent or if you're, an insurance agent, you should go on a podcast because that's what the new people and the kids do and everything. And that's how you can get more business. So during the pandemic, every insurance agent, every real estate agent was like, hey, how can I do this? But the good thing is that if I'm networking and the real estate agent and the insurance agents know me, that makes it easier when I go into places to just know people. So,
Yeah.
like, for example, I went to the Big Connect, and at the Big Connect, it's like basically Connecticut's entrepreneur small business expo kind of thing. And
Mhm.
so while I was there, I was able to already have like a group of people to just because it's one thing to go in knowing nobody. It's a little bit easier to network when you know at least one person.
Of
So
course.
those were the real estate agents, the insurance agents, and the other people that I had networked with. Hence why I
Nice.
have the ramblings.
Nice. Dude, that's awesome. What a journey.
It's
Fire.
been a while. I've been doing it for like 3 years now.
That's fire. Well, good. Keep going, man. You're a great host.
Listen,
You know?
I try.
And I'll definitely be sharing this for sure.
I look forward to it. So one of the
Yeah.
things we always ask before we have to officially get our guests out and everything, we always like to ask something pointed. I try to keep it direct and towards like what the episode was about. So I spend the episode thinking of like a final question. How big do you see OneTap being in 2024 specifically? Because obviously we can all have big aspirations, but within 2024, how big do you feel like you can grow OneTap?
As in like users or revenue?
Oh, okay. Obviously, we care about different like everyone cares about different things.
Yeah.
Which is more important to you? People one tap being in people's hands or one tap making as much revenue as possible?
I would I think I would like I get more excited seeing like the daily active user count going up, if anything. So I say users.
Okay. So you care more about so if you could have a really solid like, hey, this is realistic, but it's a realistic reach number for users for one tap. What do you want that to be for 2024?
Okay, so users like okay, so end of 2024, I want to have I had that I want to aim for like 10,000 users coming using the app every day.
Okay, 10,000 daily active
10,000
users.
daily active users every day.
Now,
That would be very happy.
I like how you got specific in that when I asked about users, you went to that daily active user
Yeah,
count.
that's
Is
important.
why is that the most important to you? Or is
Because
it the most important in general? I don't code. I don't know.
I think it's the most. I think that's where a lot of product owners misinterpret. Um, like their traction. 3,000 users is different than 3,000 daily active users. You know, I know people that have 15,000 users, people that download the app, but have 10 daily active users, so your app's barely being used by those 10,000, 15,000 users that download the app. With us, we have about 3,000 total downloads and we have about 350 daily active users on average. And those people are the daily active users are the people that need your product. They absolutely need it. You need my product. You use it multiple times. I need the product. I use it multiple times a day. If it was just to leave, it would be very annoying not having the keyboard shortcuts I use every day. And those are the people we cater to when it comes to new features. We're constantly asking them, like, what do you want? How can we make it better for you guys? Because anyone outside that daily active user, I could give two shits about. I just don't care. They're not in love with the product. That's kind of explain it, So 10,000 of them every day.
Now, I had something, I was going to go somewhere else with this, but you just brought something up. I'm going to go a completely different direction, especially since it's the other users in that sense. Would you say if there was in the game of growing and building an app, do you find it to be more imperative to build daily active users or find daily active users? So would you prefer to spend your time trying to get the people that have downloaded the app and convert them to daily users by either push notifications like certain play things, or are you trying to find more users that will be those daily active users?
That's the thing. You can't, we don't have, think about it. We don't have any notifications, right? So I'm never bugging users. I'll never bug a user with OneTap. Daily active users happen on its own. Users will do it on their own. If they really love your product, they will do it on their own. You don't have to go find it. You don't have to annoy them or get in front of them, sending them notifications. Because that's another thing. Founders are like, I need notifications to get in front of users. And it's like, yeah, I hear you, but it's going to spike up a little bit that day, the notification you sent, because people open the app. And then after that, it's going to drop if you're not already having consistent daily active users. So to me, if you don't have daily active users, your product's not sticky. And if your product's not sticky, it's kind of useless, So, because you don't have people using it. So it's like, you can have 5,000 people using it. If one person opens it a month, you don't really have anything,
Now, how do you determine the daily active users? One, what is a good ratio of download to daily active users? But also two, if you are trying to increase your daily active users, and like with OneTap, you're not necessarily bugging them with push notifications or anything, but how would you then say, because it's not like an app really that you have to go into like other apps. It's an app that you use supplementary to like your keyboard. What would you say is fundamental in increasing and like that daily active user count where you're not sending push notifications and it's not an app that you open every day, but you would have to be able to then use, because I feel like people do use could use OneTap everyone that has OneTap could use it every single day, but just it's not I'm not seeing it all the time, especially like with Grammarly, you can just have that there versus like OneTap, you have to do the double. How do you
100%.
find daily active? How do you plan on increasing that daily active user amount, especially within the people that have downloaded it but aren't using it every day?
Okay. So two things. One, everything has to do with the UI, the user interface, and the user experience of the design. So that's first and foremost. If you don't think design is important, I don't know what to tell you, because consumers have literally, we are so spoiled. It's not even funny. Like we are holding every app to the standard of TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all those apps, because they never break. They're easy to use. And we expect that in every app that we, use. But the issue with that is those apps have like hundreds of developers using developing the product. So you're going to want to make sure the design is simple enough to build and that you can it's easy for the user to understand. And more importantly, it communicates what your product does so that users know how to use it and they can understand how to use it and then come back to it every day. The second thing is most important. I think, is actual user like tracking, like data tracking. So like we use a product called Mixpanel, and pretty much what I was telling you earlier, I can track when you use a keyboard shortcut, right?
Mhm.
So what I did was we created all these user journeys. The biggest user journey we created was like, okay, people are downloading OneTap and then they're going through onboarding, but then we never know if they set up their keyboard. So like what happens after they go through the onboarding pages? Like, do they just not use the app? Like we don't know. So we created an event listener when after you download the app, you open it, you go through your onboarding pages, and then we can see if you go into the settings, you add the keyboard, and then you come back to the app, and then you use a keyboard shortcut. So we could see all that. And we had to redesign some of the flow to help people get there. Like we added instructions on how to set up the keyboard. It's because we read that data. People were having issues after onboarding. So doing those types of things really, really helps in terms of driving like daily active users. I think a lot of people with products focus on the features and the cool features and think that everyone's going to want those features. And that's why building a product is so hard because you just don't know. Yeah, that's it. Right.
Listen, man, yo, we have packed an amazing episode into an hour, man. Like,
For
thank
sure.
you so much for joining us today. Like, I can't wait to jump on and edit and get this one published.
Dude, let me know. I'm sharing it everywhere. Really appreciate you having me on here. I mean, I've done a select few of these with other people, but always love like chopping it up with other people that just love talking about like business and stuff. So really, really appreciate
Listen,
it.
man, that's what I love doing. Like, that's also, I guess, another reason why I enjoy doing this because I get to talk to other business owners and just shoot talking about what they love building, man.